You've all been tricked. Strange World is good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Strange World is a 2022 movie released by Disney, and it didn't do very well. It had a terrible box office opening and did not make its money back. If you do know what I'm talking about, then you might have heard of this movie because as soon as word came out that it had flopped, every movie-adjacent YouTuber on the planet wanted its own little piece of the hate pie. Video after video with big, shocking titles like Disney's newest disaster or something, going on to say that the story is mediocre and the characters are annoying and that the twist at the end is predictable and safe. And to that I say, did we watch the same movie? Strange World is good. Yeah, I know, shocker, animation fan likes animated movie. But no, seriously, this one's actually good. And I'm tired of keeping my silence. I'm tired of the consensus around this movie being that it's a flop. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk about it. So follow me on this winding journey through lands unknown, looking for truths that shatter your worldview, answers to questions you had never dared to ask, and a love that had been there all along. I wanna talk about Strange World. Our movie begins by introducing us to Avalonia, a civilization surrounded by impenetrable mountains, and it is believed that whatever lies beyond them holds the key to humanity's future. However, no man-made machine is powerful enough to fly over them, and no path through them has been charted yet. But that soon might change because a family of explorers known as the Clades has set out to find what lies beyond those treacherous rocky cliffs. Meet Jaeger Clade, the manliest of guys, and his son Searcher, who has a thing for botany. Their expedition seems to be going well, with the crew growing closer and closer to reaching their goal. But then, Searcher stumbles upon a glowing green plant, gifted with the power to naturally produce electricity. Searcher wants to bring this plant back to Avalonia and explore its uses, but Jaeger wants to keep exploring the mountains. With both father and son being too stubborn to give up on their stances, Jaeger says goodbye to the crew and ventures off alone, while Searcher returns to civilization, never seeing his father again. 25 years later, the whole Avalonian society runs on Pando, the plant that Searcher discovered. They went from humble horse-pulled carts to marvelous flying machines, all thanks to those miraculous green pods. However, Pando crops all over the country are dying, and no one can figure out why. All Pando bushes connect below the ground into a central root system, and whatever is killing the plants seems to be attacking them at the very source of the roots. The leader of Avalonia, who knew the Clades since way back when, puts together an expedition crew to find out what's threatening their power source, but they have to act fast because the crop decay is spreading dangerously quick. By following the roots, they come across a whole separate underground biome filled with creatures previously unseen, and they learn a terrible truth about both Pando and their way of life. Now, it's been 3-ish years. You know what the twist is. And if you don't, then watch out, because I'm going to say what it is. But before I do that, let me tell you, I didn't guess it. No matter how many internet personalities say that the reveal is trite and predictable, it wasn't to me. And this very twist leads to one of the most poignant commentaries on current issues I have seen come out of the last decades. But I'm not getting to that just yet. I want to talk about the Clades a little bit more. First of all, I love the Clade family. They're Searcher, the dad, Ethan, the son, and Meridian, the mom. This lineup is actually a bit of an anomaly within the Disney canon, because this studio is known for having its fair share of missing or dead or evil parents. But here we have a functional, standard, complete family, and from the moment they are introduced, you get exactly how their dynamic works. The parents are in a loving marriage, and their dialogue feels grounded and lively. The relationship with their son is very believable, with them having moments of letting Ethan do his own thing or hovering over him a little bit more, as though they were still learning how to deal with a teenager. However, the most striking aspect of this trio is how deeply they care for one another, and how much of their bond is built around love and respect. This is especially relevant because Searcher came from a broken family. His dad Jaeger never saw him as his own person, and when Searcher tried to stand up for himself, Jaeger responded by walking out on him. So much of Searcher's decisions in this movie are motivated by him trying not to become like his dad. He is enthusiastic about his son's interest and personal universe, he treats Ethan with love and care, and he wants to build a legacy that his son can be proud of. Ethan, however, is going through a bit of an internal crisis. He really loves his dad, but Searcher wants him to be a farmer, and that's just not his thing. His friends seem to understand that, but he doesn't quite know how to break the news to his family. And when he does, it's in one of the worst moments possible, as they are caught up in a high-stakes battle for the future of their civilization. The thing is, Jaeger really wanted Searcher to be an explorer, and Searcher hated that. Therefore, in trying not to be like his father, Searcher decided to become a farmer, and he wanted to make sure his own son never had to do any exploring, not even a little bit. But he had never stopped to ask if this is what Ethan wanted. In trying to be different from Jaeger, Searcher ended up becoming just as imposing and limiting, and when his son makes him see that, he is heartbroken. But, since Ethan and Searcher have a relationship based on love and mutual respect, their falling out doesn't end like the one Searcher had with his own father years ago. Instead of going their separate ways and not talking for 25 years, Ethan and Searcher apologize and vow to be better, each learning to see things from the other's point of view, coming out of it stronger and kinder because of one another. Searcher's relationship with Jaeger, though, isn't as easy to fix. Jaeger's mistakes were harsher and brought greater consequences. If it wasn't clear by this point, Jaeger didn't die when he parted ways with his son. He just spent the last 25 years alone exploring the strange world. Jaeger admits that the reason he didn't try to go back home was because he felt stuck. He had been an explorer all his life, chasing an impossible horizon, and if he gave up on that, he would lose all sense of identity. So he carried onwards, choosing exploring over his own family, knowing it would only bring more pain to his son and himself. There's this brilliant moment where Jaeger calls himself a terrible father, half sarcastically and half as an attempt to guilt-trip Searcher into contradicting him and reassuring Jaeger of his qualities. But instead, Searcher agrees. Yeah, Jaeger was horrible, but he didn't have to be. Had he put his family before his own ego, things could have been different. Whether or not you find success in your relationships depends on the effort you put into them. Because of this, Jaeger realizes the error of his ways, and gives up on his dream of reaching the land beyond the mountains. He rejects his explorer identity, something he had feared would leave him empty and directionless, instead finding a new sense of confidence once he sees there is still time to forge a connection with his son. And even after a childhood full of trauma and an adulthood marked by neglect, Searcher was still able to forgive his father because he wanted their future to be better than their past. Searcher had been deeply hurt by his dad's actions, but he didn't let that define him. He still worked hard to be a loving and present father, and for that he was rewarded with his son's affection. Searcher understood that just because Jaeger had been a terrible dad, that didn't mean he was fated to be one too. It all depended on how hard he worked to be better. In fact, his plan worked out so well that Ethan gives him the title of Pretty Good Dad. and Searcher tries to dismiss it at first, exaggerating his son's words and proclaiming that Ethan thought he was amazing. But by the end of the movie, Searcher wears that title with pride. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you end up just being pretty good instead of perfect, if there even is such a thing. But pretty good is way better than horrible, and that's still something to be celebrated. That's deep stuff. That's 3 generations of trauma and messy relationships, of nuance and conversations and development. I don't get how people are calling this boring. I genuinely don't. So, okay, let's get back to that twist. The world is actually alive. As in, what they thought was their whole world is actually the back of a giant creature, and they had been living on top of it. Pando, on the other hand, is a virus. And, just like any other virus, its purpose is to propagate, and as a consequence, make the host sicker, which is exactly what the humans had been helping Pando to achieve, without knowing they were doing it. When the crew finds out the thing that powers their city is actually killing the very land they live in, there is some hesitation in destroying it. After all, Pando is the source to their current way of life. But ultimately, they understand this virus must go, and do their best to help the creature fight off this parasite. So yeah, I did not see this coming. At all. I was stupidly close to getting it. The design of both the strange world and the creatures that inhabit it simply screamed inner body. The shapes are round, malleable, vibrant. The animals have no discernible faces. It all gives off the feeling of something primordial, deeply organic, in a way that is only achieved by bright, stylized diagrams in science textbooks. And I was watching this movie looking at these design choices like, oh wow, that looks like red blood cells, or whoa, that's just like pulmonary alveoli, without ever questioning why that was. I just assumed the production crew was inspired by cells and tissues and stuff. I didn't know any of that had a purpose, but when the twist was revealed to me, everything clicked. And I realized this movie was truly revolutionary. You see, a very cliché interpretation of the role that human beings play on Earth, especially considering global warming, is that humans are a virus.
You move to an area and you multiply. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, a virus.
We behave like viruses. We're tiny little organisms that make the body sicker and sicker by multiplying with no end and consuming all the vital resources our environment has to offer. And much like how a virus often kills its host, we too are fated to cause the death of the planet we inhabit. We are a disease, an infection. It's an easy conclusion to come to. It is also very stupid. Humans are not a virus. We are part of this planet too. We're mismanaging it terribly, but we are a natural part of it, whether we like it or not. In fact, claiming we are a virus leads to dangerous ideas about overpopulation, implying that the problem is that there are too many of us, and that there is no way we can live in peace with Earth because our presence is inherently destructive. It takes the responsibility away from humans. It's like it's saying, we're terrible and there's nothing we can do about it. This defeatist negative attitude is extremely detrimental to enacting practical change, because it states that there is a fundamental part of our very nature that is irrevocably evil, and that we cannot control this part, so we should just give up. This movie, more than any other piece of media I have seen, understands that we are not the virus. Pando is the virus. Fossil fuels, that is, in case it wasn't clear already. This thing we found on the planet and that we are using to power our cities and drive our technological advancements in the way that we are using it is causing terrible damage to the land itself. The problem is not the humans themselves. It's how these humans are dealing with the resources available to them. The solution is not to destroy humanity. It's to stop humans from doing the thing that is causing the damage. Our energy sources are killing the planet. To save the land, humans don't have to be eradicated because we are not the problem. We are part of this place. But we have to stop giving so much strength to the thing that is actually making everything worse. This isn't some cheap twist. This is actual social commentary. This is saying something, and we really need to start listening. There is also a point to be made about how the people of Avalonia thought the future of their civilization lies beyond the mountains, and they spend a lot of time and resources trying to cross that threshold. But when they do reach the other side, all they find is an empty ocean. The answer is not out there, it's back where they came from. This mimics how another common human belief is that some sort of answer can be found in outer space, as though we will inevitably find whatever key to fix our problems far beyond our galaxy if we just keep on looking. But we have that answer already, and it's right here, on Earth. I also appreciate how the generational aspect of the story plays into all of this. Jaeger is the explorer, the colonizer. He wants to find other worlds and claim them in the name of Avalonia, using them to their advantage. Searcher's farming approach seems tamer by comparison, but it's still just as exploitative. He uses his land to farm Pando exclusively, dismissing any alternatives, and seeing other organisms as threats, choosing to exterminate them instead of understanding them. Ethan is the one who brings a fresh perspective. Instead of thinking in terms of how they can take advantage of nature, Ethan was raised to live harmoniously with it. Unlike his father and grandfather, he doesn't want to kill every creature he encounters. He wants to see how they function. He is the most reluctant to harm other creatures to save Pando, and the first to realize the land they live in is alive, matching each area of the strange world to their equivalents in a living body. The burden of saving the world is a heavy one, and it's repeatedly dropped upon the shoulders of the younger generations. But Ethan doesn't kill Pando on his own. Jaeger and Searcher both put their differences aside and follow the boy's plan, opening up a path for the body's immune system to successfully fight against the deadly infection. It is only by trying to do better and choosing to support this burdened youth that humanity stands any chance at fighting against the troubles that haunt us. This movie is good. So why did it flop? Well, maybe because no one knew it was a thing? Seriously, what was the marketing for this? I had never even seen the trailer for this movie before working on this video. As a side note, here in Brazil we had a very specific issue with the marketing. The title of this movie, Strange World, is translated as Mundo Estranho, and for years we had a very well-known magazine publication called Mundo Estranho. So when we went outside and saw the, total of 3 posters Disney put up for that movie, we just thought it was an advertisement for the magazine. And then Mundo Estranho reacted by publishing a special edition about Mundo Estranho. Anyway, yeah, there was zero marketing for this. And word of mouth didn't save it either. A lot of people only found out about the movie upon seeing the headlines about how it was tanking, which isn't very encouraging. And then the YouTubers happened. Video after video about how this movie was bad and terrible and lazy and how Disney had lost its spark. And I didn't watch a single one of them. Like, okay, I did, years later as research for this video, and they all suck. Let me debunk some of the main talking points real quick. 1. The story is boring and the plot is predictable. Objectively not true, go watch my video from the start if you haven't gotten it already. 2. The humor is annoying and falls flat. Okay, the thing about the humor in this movie is that it's very in your face. Subtlety is out the window. Take this scene where some lady points out that Ethan is the 3rd generation of famous Clades, and Searcher has a moment where he worries that Ethan might grow distant from him, just like he grew distant from his own dad.
You know he's gonna grow up to be just like me, and leave you just like I did.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. It's so cartoonish and exaggerated. It states Searcher's worries without a hint of nuance, and mimics the black and white thinking that he has regarding his father. It's camp, almost. It's self-aware, but not in the way that a lot of modern movies are, where it's almost like they're embarrassed at their own existence. This one embraces it, and forges a strong sense of identity thanks to it. I understand if this is not your kind of humor, but you cannot fault the movie for knowing what it wants to be. 3. The strange world itself looks cool, but the human character designs are bad. I gotta admit, the teeny tiny eyes and big red noses didn't do it for me at first. But the character models are incredibly expressive, and they move in such a fun and fluid way that they ended up growing on me. Besides, the diversity of face models and body types is something that I had been missing from the studio. I'll take this over an Elsa face anytime. Speaking of which, let's talk about the diversity. It's not like people criticize it, unless you are part of the lowest of the low, and a lot of the times, the public actually welcomed it. But it is weird that Disney tried to bury one of, if not the most diverse of movies to come out in recent history. It even had Disney's first gay character. For the 7th time. And I'm talking different ethnicities, body types, age groups, they've got it all. I think the issue is more that Disney has been mistreating its original stories for a while. This is not the first non-sequel movie to get the silent treatment from the company. And then when the film tanks because no one knew it was coming out, they go and blame the wokeness for why it failed, and use it as an excuse to greenlight Frozen 4. God, I wrote this as a joke. And then found out that they literally greenlit a 4th Frozen movie. Can't I have a single moment of peace? There's this one joke from the movie that really gets on my nerves. Throughout Ethan's side of the adventure, the boy ends up befriending a slime-like creature he nicknames Splat. And when he introduces Splat to the rest of the crew, this one guy says,
"What is that? It's so cute. I want to merchandise it."
Ow!
I have to point out that this specific character is there to be annoying and the butt of the joke. Everything he says or does is supposed to be taken as irresponsible, incompetent, or unreasonable. Him calling Splat merchandisable pokes fun at the trope of characters in movies coming across a funny little guy who is there just to be cute and sell merchandise. It's supposed to be funny because Splat is more than just merch material. He plays an actual role in the story. And this annoying guy reducing him to merchandise mirrors how Jaeger and Searcher's generations see new discoveries as things to be sold and exploited instead of understood. But that really sinks my airship, because it just reminds me of how that's all everything boils down to nowadays. How hard you can sell it. Stories are not measured in terms of how much narrative value they carry, but instead of how marketable they are. Sure, this character is relevant, but is it cute? Will it sell plushies? Can I put it on a t-shirt? Can little girls dress up like that for Halloween? Does it have sequel material? 4th movie sequel material? And at the same time, it's like, well, I wish you had merchandised it. If that's how you want to judge a movie's worth, I wish you had given it a chance. I wish Disney had put in any effort, made any attempt at helping us like this movie. Instead, they sent it out to die, and it deserved better. It deserved so much better. Strange World is good. Disney gaslit you into not caring for it, and the internet rage-baited you into saying it's okay at best. It's a story that manages to be fun, touching, and relevant all at the same time. It's fresh, it's new, it's beautiful, and I'm done acting like it isn't. But hey, don't let some YouTuber tell you what to think. Give this movie a shot if you haven't already, and see for yourself. We need to give stories like these a chance. They are trying to tell us something, and I can only hope that we will listen. Thank you for watching.
Well, hello there. It was very nice of you to watch this video. Special thanks to my beautiful patrons for making videos like these possible. You guys are the merchandisable sidekicks that serve a purpose in the main story. If you have enjoyed the video, you can also help me out by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, and clicking the notification bell too. You can also follow me on a bunch of different places, such as Blue Sky, the website formerly known as Twitter, and my second channel. The link to all of those things will be in the description. Share this video with your friends if you're feeling extra generous. Feel free to leave a comment down below, especially if it is about how much you love Strange World. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Yeah, I don't get this game.
Me neither.